All we have seen out of this administration is that they have cut jobs, whether it was within the federal government or outside of the federal government. And what we've also seen is that they don't care about the people that are struggling the most, the people that believe in the American dream, that believe that they should be able to come from anywhere and still have an opportunity at prosperity. So beyond that, beyond the fact that it's just really a cruel bill, it's this idea that they are going to somehow be fiscally responsible when we know under the first Trump administration, they ran the national deficit up $8 trillion. And with this one bill, they want to raise the debt ceiling an additional $5 trillion. So here is the deal. If we have cut off everything that would help somebody, which doesn't sound like a very Christian thing to do, if we're going to do all of that, at least have something to show for it. They have nothing to show for it except for, again, those top earners being able to say, have their next trophy wife or buy their next yacht or get their next plane. That doesn't work for me, and that obviously does not work for my constituents.
Donald Trump making an insane post in the early hours of the morning is not surprising anymore. This is expected, but making a post so bizarre and crazy that he panics and deletes it, yeah, that is pretty crazy. And it is exactly what we saw today as Donald Trump had himself a Memorial Day meltdown, freaking out about all the losses his administration has suffered lately. We're going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into what Donald Trump posted and inevitably had to quickly delete this morning about Memorial Day, I want to hear from Jasmine Crockett, who responded to a different address Donald Trump gave to those who serve our nation. That was at West Point in an interview right here.
All we have seen out of this administration is that they have cut jobs, whether it was within the federal government or outside of the federal government. And what we've also seen is that they don't care about the people that are struggling the most, the people that believe in the American dream, that believe that they should be able to come from anywhere and still have an opportunity at prosperity. So beyond that, beyond the fact that it's just really a cruel bill, it's this idea that they are going to somehow be fiscally responsible when we know under the first Trump administration, they ran the national deficit up $8 trillion. And with this one bill, they want to raise the debt ceiling an additional $5 trillion. So here is the deal. If we have cut off everything that would help somebody, which doesn't sound like a very Christian thing to do, if we're going to do all of that, at least have something to show for it. They have nothing to show for it except for, again, those top earners being able to say, have their next trophy wife or buy their next yacht or get their next plane. That doesn't work for me, and that obviously does not work for my constituents.
Let's talk about what President Trump did yesterday, giving the commencement address at West Point. Besides congratulating the graduating cadets, they got to hear the president veer off into his usual grievances and political attacks. Let's take a listen.
I went through more investigations than Alphonse Capone, and now I'm talking to you as president. Can you believe this? I must tell you, a lot of trophy wives doesn't work out. They subjected the armed forces to all manner of social projects and political causes while leaving our borders undefended and depleting our arsenals to fight other countries' wars. The job of the U.S. Armed Forces is not to host drag shows. We will not have men playing in women's sports, if that's okay.
So, look, we are all used to Trump making campaign-style diatribes in, inappropriate settings. But what is your response to him doing it at West Point?
Listen, you say we're all used to it. No, I am tired of it, Alex.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
right there
he literally sounds like someone who is broken out of the insane asylum. Like, he just be all over the place. Like, get him some ADHD medicine, if nothing else, because I don't know where he's ever going to go. And I don't think that those that have gone through West Point expected to have their commander-in-chief address them and start talking about trophy wives or start talking about how he had so many investigations. What a great great reminder that you are not qualified to be the person that potentially will command us as troops to go into war. Like, that is not instilling confidence whatsoever. And honestly, our troops deserve better. Our graduates deserve better. We as a country deserve better. And frankly, if we are going to ever be seen as the world leaders that we historically have been, the world deserves better. It is time for Republicans to start calling him out and start questioning his mental acuity and whether or not he is equipped to serve mentally. We know when it comes down to his criminality, he is not qualified to serve. But this is just absolutely deplorable.
Jasmine Crockett, as always, is so spot on, and I'm glad she said it. You know, it's not surprising that Donald Trump is humiliating this country constantly. It's not surprising that he's using some of the most hallowed ground in America to give a campaign speech, to whine, to complain, to ramble, to demonstrate his cognitive decline. But that doesn't mean we're not all over it, that we're not all tired of it, that this nightmare needs to end soon or we're all going to lose it. Unfortunately, much like our president does every day, we're fed up. And like I said at the beginning of this video, clearly Donald Trump is as well. Fed up with his own self, his own posts, his own ramblings, because he had to delete them this morning. And we can see that in a post that we're going to check out this article right here. Trump deletes and reposts lengthy Memorial Day screed slamming scum Democrats. Donald Trump slammed Democrats in a lengthy early morning rant to kick off Memorial Day, deleted it, and then reposted it with fixed typos. In addition, taking to his Truth Social platform just before 7 a.m. on Memorial Day, Trump unleashed the blistering screed. But just minutes later, and we will get into the post was deleted, and its place was a short and sweet Happy Memorial Day. But Trump wasn't done. The original post reappeared, this time fixing several typos and adding, "But fear not. We have made great progress over the last 4 months, and America will soon be safe and great again." Again, Happy Memorial Day, and God bless America. The post was Trump's second eye-opening social media rant in just a few hours. Of course, last night the president ripped into Russian strongman Vladimir Putin, rebuking him as absolutely crazy after a devastating attack in Kiev. But like I said, this post was insane for Trump. So let's get into it. Trump wrote Happy Memorial Day to all, including the scum that spent the last 4 years trying to destroy our country through warped radical left minds who allowed 21 million people to illegally enter our country. Not true. Many of them being criminals and the mentally insane, through an open border that only an incompetent president would approve, and through judges who are on a mission to keep murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and release prisoners from all over the world and our country so they can rob and do it all again. All protected by these USA-hating judges who suffer from an ideology that is sick and very dangerous for our country. Hopefully, the United States Supreme Court and other good and compassionate judges throughout the land will save us from the decisions of the monsters who want our country to go to hell. Yeah. So, that one's pretty weird. That one's pretty crazy even for Trump. It's no surprise that he deleted the original version of that, which was somehow weirder and unsurprisingly riddled with typos, as they all are. But I guess that was taking it a little too far. We can always tell the difference when Donald Trump did and did not write a post. It's when there's, multiple 3-syllable words and things are spelled correctly. You're like, he probably didn't write that one because he's clearly losing his mind, and it's really weighing on all of us. I say this all the time. Donald Trump's cognitive decline isn't something that we just point out, because the mainstream media fails to, and because, it's embarrassing when he slips up on a word. Donald Trump is almost single-handedly at this point, as he promised to be in control of everything in America. He's running our economy through his idiotic trade policy, and he's running it into the ground. All the decisions being made are made without checks and balances. That's Donald Trump's administration. And so when you have an insane person without checks on them, yeah, we should be scared. And we need some oversight, which is exactly what Jasmine Crockett is talking about, breaking a bit of news about some investigations that are to come. I want to take a look right here.
I'm curious, if the Democrats take over after the midterms next year, the House and or Senate, do you think they're going to push for investigations into Trump's family and the whole crypto acquisitions that he is getting?
Well, Alex, I'm glad you asked.
Oh, here we go.
Listen, so long as we end up taking the House, which I fully anticipate that we will do, and we are going to work hard to obviously help our Senate colleagues as well, then as someone who serves on the Oversight Committee and hopes to lead the Oversight Committee, I can guarantee you that we will do what we are supposed to do as constitutionally sworn members of the House, which means that we will conduct oversight. That means that we will investigate. We will look at whether or not this president himself has violated the emoluments clause as it relates to, say, such things as getting a $400 million plane from the Qataris. We also will make sure that we're looking into all these business deals that they have going on. I mean, think about it this way, Alex. They were going after Hunter because he sat on a board. Think about how much money they are raking in, whether we're talking about the next golf resort that they're setting up in Qatar, or whether we're talking about them leveling Gaza, as they've talked about, and talked about how it would be great beachfront property, whether we're talking about this crypto scam, the scam that people didn't even want to walk into and show their faces. Let me tell you, there is no shortage of things for us to dig into and determine whether or not there have been not only violations of the law, but definitely violations of our Constitution as a whole.
Did you make a little news here? Didn't you say you hope to lead that committee?
I absolutely do. Unfortunately, we are going to lay our dear colleague, Jerry Conley, to rest here on Tuesday. And there will have to be an election to determine who is going to lead the Oversight Committee. And ultimately, I am hoping and praying that my colleagues see that I can provide what we need as a team to make sure that we can move forward and instill some confidence in the American people by knowing that they have a real fighter who will not back down, even in the face of all the threats that I will have waged at me, because Lord knows I get death threats every single day. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that God will never leave my side. And so I will fight fearlessly and ferociously for the American people.
I am glad that Jasmine Crockett is not holding back. And yes, she should have that role on the Oversight Committee. We need a fighter. I do not like this idea that somehow seniority is all that matters. Encouraging people to stay in Congress for 20, 30 years. Sure, having leadership with experience is important, but we need young blood. We need fighters in the Democratic Party. And of course, some of our oldest members of Congress are fighters. Bernie Sanders is certainly one. But there's no reason that anyone should be stopping Jasmine Crockett from assuming her rightful place as a leader of the Democratic Party. It's the same thing with AOC when Jerry Connolly won that race to be the chair of the Oversight Committee. This is insane. We need younger Democrats. We need fighters in this party to be our leaders, to be the face of this party. I don't think anyone should be disagreeing with that, especially in the face of a Republican administration and a president and Donald Trump, who's clearly cognitively unstable. We saw that yesterday. Just listen to what he had to say.
Another question. You announced on Friday about U.S. Steel and Nippon Steel. Yeah. What will the ownership structure look like? What made you say
it'll be controlled by the United States. Otherwise, I wouldn't make the deal. I went to the unions, to all of the local unions. They all wanted it. And I'm doing it because all of the congressmen came in, about 5 of them, and the others, I understand, are in concurrence. and they asked that I do it. Everybody seems to want it, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see what the final is. But they're going to invest billions of dollars in steel, and it's a good company. Nissan's a very good company. We'll see. But it's an investment, and it's a partial ownership, but it'll be controlled by the USA.
He doesn't know what he's saying. He's idiotic. It's embarrassing. We got to call it out. We got to be like Jasmine Crockett. We're going to do so on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.